welcome to Kidex presentation. First of all, let me welcome YB Rafizi, and let us express our thank you for organizing this event today. We welcome YB Geobind, YB Haniza, YB Rajiv. A special thanks to City Councillor Mr. Tan for organizing this venue for us today. Kindly allow me to introduce to you the Say No to Kidex committee. Our co-chairman Mr. Tan. Mr. Tan. Our secretary Mr. David Wong. Our committee member, Mr. Mark. Our committee member at the back, Miss Helen. Our committee member, Mr. David Poo. Our committee member, Mr. Kandaya. I hope I got everybody. Okay. Without further ado, kindly let me introduce Mr. David Wong. He's our secretary. He is also engineer by profession. He will start the presentation now. David?
Thank you, Silva. Have you introduced yourself? Mr. Silva is our vice chairman. Yes, he's from section 14. Yeah. Okay, thank you all the YBs again for coming, especially to YB Rafizi for granting us this opportunity to share with you what we have acquired through these months. Of course, I always say at the beginning of any address, any briefing, we don't claim to know everything. So with that humble approach, I hope to start off tonight's dialogue. Before I go on with Kidex, or no Kidex, we actually have our dash teams, or say no to dash teams. And I also understand we have got a Mr. Colin Stewart, who is from the Suke highway affected area. Are you here? Please identify yourself. Okay, thank you. We will run some time later on for you to share. But having introduced to you, I'm reminded to straight away tell you this, that we are not against highways nor against developments per se, just for the sake of objections. Right? For Kidex, we believe we know the subject as well as we have been able to achieve over the last 6 months by, as I mentioned just now, taking information from websites and so on, public domain information. But I want to make it very clear. I'm sure that Say No to Dash people and the Say No to Suke people have got their respective reasons. I'll give them the allocation of time later to share. But let it be known, we are not just against developments for the sake of putting up objections. We are very issue focused, and sometimes, in spite of our strive to be non-confrontational, what has to be said has to be said. So please forgive us. For a few years now, I believe it's coming to 3 years, a group of us, some of them are members on the floor, have been trying to get the authorities to recognize that we wish to be empowered. We wish to participate, in what we call a participative process. And this has to be granted together with freedom of information and also freedom of process to participate. And of course, to be participating, we need to be consulted in the first place. So this is a consultative and a participative process. Grateful that the Kidex issue has kind of zipped up all the jigsaw puzzle pieces that we have been trying to put together into the broader picture, right? A lot of us who are here, a lot of us who have been supportive friends and Facebook messages, honestly, I'm so thankful to all of you, and on behalf of the committee, we're so thankful to all of you. You have actually gone back to your respective wardrobes and dug up your jackets of excellence and your armor of care. The care for our surroundings, the care for our community, the care for our neighbors, so that this Kidex issue, as far as we are concerned, is no more than NIMBY, not in my backyard issue. It involves framing it and characterizing it into a lot bigger and broader picture. And that's what we try to share with the YBs tonight. So thank you. With every challenge then arises a spirit to overcome and work towards better solutions. So on that positive spirit and framework, please permit me to start off tonight's program. Okay, just now we have gone through some information about how Kidex lacks connectivity. It doesn't really link into highways as they claim, and when they link, it is a one-directional link, not the diamond-shaped exchange or a cloverleaf interchange. We believe that it will not result in a substantial reduction in traffic congestion. In fact, claims to the contrary. There are lots of cases we have dug up. Right, later on we hope to give all the YBs. Please remind me. I have got 8 sets here. Perhaps I can actually pass this to you now. Yeah. Okay. Our committee member has already done the necessary. So I'll be brief because a certain amount of time was already lost just now. So Kidex will not result in reduction in traffic congestion because it goes to residential roads. Actually, it will do the contrary. And this fact has been now backed up by some elected officials who have actually had the privilege to eye the preliminary traffic impact assessment findings. And I think reports over the last week or so have seen that certain roads are increased by 233% of its current usage or capacity. That's Jalan Bukit Jalil. Jalan Changai near to Jalan Sultan is 109%, and so on and so forth. Of course, there are key concerns about Jalan Bukit 11/2, which is an ambulance route near Esandria, but later on I'll pass this opportunity to one of our honorary members, Mr. David Fu, to elaborate on it. It is the most expensive expressway, nearly 70% more than the next most expensive one, which is the AKLEH or Ampang Kuala Lumpur Elevated Highway. It poses a risk to numerous sensitive sites, what we have shown you, to mosques, to schools, including acquiring the school grounds. And Bestari Flats is at 10 meters away, Tun Hussein On Eye Hospital is at 19 meters away. And particularly the proximity to the schools will pose a risk and hazards to children. And we actually have a lady called Haniza Elias, Vice Chair of the Bukit Bintang Boys School Parent Teachers Association, coming up to the press, I believe in May, saying the highway runs right in front of the school gates, and when it is being constructed, their safety will be at risk. When it is completed, they won't have peace of mind because the highway runs right next to their classroom. Kidex poses potential safety hazards, as we've shown you, 11,000 lorries and vans to run on it daily. That's what Kidex website posted. It risks illegal levels of noise pollution. We have again shown you that just now, through actual findings and pages from the preliminary EIA report. It risks adverse environmental and aesthetic impacts. It has adverse impacts on the economy and business, and it is inadequate and may mislead decision makers. And on this point, I will also call another lady, either Li Cheng, if she's here, or Lilin. Sorry, I'm very poor with names. But suffice it to say, some of these last few points that are environmental and aesthetic impacts and economic, this is what I would like to classify as what is broadly called livability and sustainability intangibles. Some of these are very difficult to define in words, but when we were presenting to Section 14 last Friday, the Jaya Supermarket Operations Director, Mr. Hui, was with us. So I just joked, you know, you're newly reopened, you've got this nice Toys R Us sign, you know. It would mean people passing on the other side of Jalan Semangat would not be able to see your advertising, right? And it is not only that, the psycho well-being. I personally feel that if I would drive under a deck for 14.9 kilometers, I would feel very uncomfortable. Physically, as well as psychologically, the city will be bisected into two, right? Some of these reasons have been broadly stated in many letters, our opinion views, our Facebook postings, as well as by now, thankfully, as published and spoken by many of the elected representatives, including YB Rafizi, YB Geobind, thank you for your statements, and even YB Rajiv, who is the ADUN from Bukit Gasim. Yeah, of course, many other ADUNs who may not be here. I won't go into detail. But at this point, I don't want to be the only one talking. Can I please invite either Li Cheng or Lilin Because there was a report where 4 leading national NGOs have actually read the PEIA, and they shared in the newspaper reports as well as various news portals that Kidex is now a national issue. They feel that this is no longer just confined to PJ or even Selangor. So can I call upon Li Ching or Lilin, please? And can we please share a mic? Thank you, Li Ching. Li Ching is from section 11.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Can you hear me better now? Okay. My name is Lim Li Ching, and I'm a resident of Section 11. I also work for a non-governmental organization called the Third World Network. Together with 3 other national NGOs, the Consumers Association of Penang, the Environmental Protection Society Malaysia, Sahabat Alam Malaysia or Friends of the Earth Malaysia, we have written to the Director General of the Department of Environment asking for a full and detailed environmental and social assessment of Kidex. Because we've looked at the preliminary environmental impact assessment, and we find actually that there is a lot of lack in that PEIA. We call into question its validity, including its assumptions and analysis, and also about the inclusion of the author's value judgments into the report's conclusions. We don't think that the PEIA is an adequate basis on which to make decisions about Kidex. Now, under the Environmental Quality Act and the regulations thereof, there is actually provision for the Director General of the Department of Environment to ask for a detailed environmental impact assessment for projects that have major social and environmental impacts. And we believe that Kidex falls under this category. Okay? Ordinarily, expressways and highways only require preliminary environmental impact assessments. But in this case, what we are saying is because of the inadequacy of the current preliminary EIA and the questioning of the validity of its assumptions and its analysis, and I'll say a little bit about this as I go along. Therefore, we are calling on the Director General of the Department of Environment to use the powers that she has invested in her to be able to call for a detailed EIA. I think we just point out really one issue that we feel is very problematic. And that is the issue of noise pollution. If you recall, the Honourable Works Minister had also said that the issue of noise must be brought within permissible levels. When you look closely at the preliminary EIA, we find that out of 4 out of 5 segments of the Kidex Expressway, the noise pollution already is above legally permissible levels. These are standards set up by the Department of Environment. And the PEIA already finds that Kidex will further increase these levels.
I'm sure most of you are wondering, when all documents pertaining to Kidex are so secretive, what are these fellows talking about the EIA? Let me let you all know a little secret. By the grace of His Majesty's government, we managed to get the EIA report, the preliminary report, all 282 pages. It was on the DOE website, in pieces, in 12 to 13 different pieces, and one of our members managed to collate all 282 pages, and that's the report everybody is talking about. It does not say Sulit, it does not say Terhad, it does not say Hak Kerajaan. So we feel it's our civic duty to inform the residents.
Mr. Mark was councillor for 2 terms in MPPJ. 2 terms. 3 terms. Sorry. Yeah, so he is quite familiar with due processes about public consultation before local plans, RTPJ 1 or 2, or even the RKK 13 can be changed. Mark, this is very impromptu. if you can, we also like to call upon you now, if you want to combine it together, or you can do it later, to share with us what were the contents of the letters that were delivered to some of the top Pakatan Rakyat leaders at the parliament on Monday morning. Briefly, yeah. Thank you.
Hi. Okay. Basically, when the government wants to do something, it has to be within the law. Anything that the government wants to do, they have to follow the law. So the basic principles here with the law that would allow Kidex to come through to Petaling Jaya would be the Town and Country Planning Act. Now that act allows for the creation of what you call a local plan. And once that local plan is done, you cannot deviate from it. But what has happened here is we have a proposal for Kidex, which runs through Petaling Jaya, and there is no plan that has Kidex in it. We have what you call RTPJ 1, RTPJ 2, and RKK 13. These are the local plans for Petaling Jaya. Not one of these plans have Kidex in it. And for Kidex to be legally built in Petaling Jaya, they must comply with the Town and Country Planning Act. And this is simply not being done. The state government has basically not talked about complying with this law at all. And the processes for amending the local plans in order for you to allow Kidex to come in, that requires public consultation. And public consultation requires the whole process to be accountable. It requires that you be given the information necessary so that you can make an informed decision. None of this has happened. Okay? In view of all these issues, all right, and also because of the promises that Pakatan Rakyat has provided to the voters, whereby they promised that there will be no toll highways. So, in essence, we went to deliver letters to the Pakatan Rakyat leaders, urging them to look at their own manifesto, to do something positive, that Kidex presents them an opportunity to do what is right for the public, to allow them to actually say that they will stick by their manifesto, stick with the Rakyat, and basically show the whole nation that they are the next government that will replace Barisan Nasional. Okay, thank you.
I like to sum up what Mark said in a very simple phrase: due process. We expect the government, whether it's the local government, MPPJ, state government, or the federal government, to follow due process which has been stated in the respective acts, what to do, how to do it, when to do. We expect them to follow. As far as Kidex is concerned, this is not followed.
And of course, our country colleague Ibrahim has said it, I believe on the 1st of June, reported in the papers. The statements being that this manifesto to abolish tolls is a federal manifesto. It is not a Selangor state manifesto, and therefore the interpretation is that only when Pakatan Rakyat government gets to rule from Putrajaya, then, thank you YB Govin, I see you are already shaking your head. And yeah, this is one of our slides. Always. Yeah, thank you. This was April 7. Actions rolled on after we passed the memorandum on 31st March through the Menteri Besar. Yeah.
All of you are very, very young here, but I'd like to take you all back to 1978. The Kelantan past crisis, and thereafter the election that took place in Kelantan. The government, the PN government in their manifesto stated toll collection will stop in Kelantan. They won that election. At midnight, toll collection stopped. They never gave any excuses. Even before the government was sworn in, toll collection stopped. That was a promise made in the manifesto. That was a promise kept. We expect that, not excuses.
And also there was a very recent report, I think a couple of days ago, the Institute of Planners President also made a statement that this is a firefighting stopgap measure, not a long-term master planning. So with that, David,
I would like to welcome YB Sivarasa and Tipu Subak.
Thank you. I'm David. I'm from David Fu, not David Yong. I'm from Section 12. Before I talk about public transportation, maybe I'll just raise a question to our YB lawyers here. The Land Acquisition Act provides for compensation. The Land Acquisition Act provides for compensation for property owners if your property is acquired. But that compensation, I believe, is only for the property, right? How about, is there any compensation for upheaval in your life, for disruption in your life? I think if we don't compensate you for your loss of whatever it is, all the other losses, that is a very grave travesty against human rights. Okay, public transportation, 9th of May, I asked YB Tony Puang. He said he will support the project if it is found to, or if he thinks it is beneficial to the people. And I asked him this question: who are people? I told him that this project, it serves people from one end, Hinrara, and the people at Bandar Utama or further. And it does not serve the people of PJ. No. Yeah, it does not serve the people of PJ at all. But to him, it serves people. So I asked him, what exactly is people? And this is what we are talking about, public transportation. You have a facility that goes over PJ, but it does not serve the people of PJ. So is that public transportation? You want a transportation from which end to end, or is it along the whole corridor? PJ has a new, MPPJ is providing you free buses. I'm quite sure most of you are aware of it. And do you know why that is so? That's because public transportation is under the purview of federal government. The federal government is not giving MPPJ the rights to collect fare for public transportation. And
we'd like to welcome YB Elford Wong.
And tomorrow morning, I think Mark made some announcements just now. There's going to be a site visit to especially the schools around Section 14, so that Mr. James can see for himself how the Skyway is going to be running very close to the school. So on this issue, we were advised by Suhakam, Mr. James Nayakam, that by international standards, it is only ethical that a Kidex project developer should have first consulted the people near the alignment of the highway, and then after that, get consent. Otherwise, it's a violation, a breach of human rights, and therefore the project should not be approved. That's what Mr. James Nayagam shared with us, and it's duly reported in all the papers.
Ladies and gentlemen, very good evening. My name is Michael Kam, Assistant Chairman of Section 14A, Section Road 1 to Road 15. Kidex will pass right in front of my house. Yes, now as affected residents of Section 14, and now just to let you know, our very dear Rajiv, thank you very much. He has been very supportive, and because of the constituency of his area, 40% passes through, Kidex 40% passes through his area. He has been very vocal and adamant on no Kidex today or any other day. Now, because of this, my father's house is in Section 21, PJ, where Tony Kwa's constituency, PJ Utara is. So I wrote a letter to Tony and also to, some of us have been very vocal and we've been writing a lot of things over the last 2 months. My request to YB Tony was 80% of the Kidex build-up will be passing through urban areas, as you've seen in the data. So my request was, every other politician, for PJ Selatan, Mr. YB Giloy said, everyone has already spoken up. Why hasn't Tony spoke up 1.5 months ago? Now, recently Tony spoke, and at least I'm thankful, but the point is this. Now, we are not against development, and I'm very pleased to say, yes, as an engineer, I like to see things improve. And the way forward for our country and for this state of ours is better transportation. Do you agree? Now, the point is this. Asking Tony for his feedback, and he told us in the 9th of May meeting, he says, if the alignment changes, I may have it the way we want it, but the point is this. What is your stand, Mr. Tony Kwa? Tell us what is your stand. Finally, a week ago, he spoke. Now, the point is this. We, the Residents Association, the Rakyat, we want to know concrete answers from Menteri Besar Khalid Ibrahim, from the ADUNs, the respected MPs. We will give you our support if you show us the results in the pending a few months ahead before the Gazette comes through in November, and consequently what will happen. And we, the Rakyat, are watching you. Thank you very much.
We started this meeting by saying that we are not anti-highway. We have said that in all our meetings. If this highway is good for the people of Petaling Jaya, please show it to us, prove it to us, let the documents come forward, let the developer, let the politician, let the Menteri Besar come forward and show it how it's going to be beneficial to us. Until they do that, they might as well shelve Kidex project for good.
Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Selva. My colleague just reminded me, getting to be 10 p.m. Please bear with us. Just to round up the point that I mentioned about Mr. James Nayagam's advice about public consultation and consent, we have gone on now to write to 14 RAs and RTs, and there will be more to come. And many of them have come back. I counted at least 10 people have come back and signed letters, number one, to state they have not been consulted, and therefore there was no consent given. And we are again trying to zip up all the pieces from all over PJ so that they are saying the same thing. Some associations have also signed to say they take a common objection stand to the Kidex highway, not just on the grounds of being a highway, because some of these people don't even live near the alignment of the highway, but it's just on the simple things like consultation and participation, the processes of freedom, especially giving credence to FOI's Langor. I'm sorry, KS, we might have no time to talk on that. Yeah, but just to round up on this point, this is again from the preliminary EIA. It says that 300 individuals were consulted within a kilometer corridor from the proposed expressway, 17 locations. Now we have talked to people from 20 over locations. Not a single resident has come up to say he or she is among those that are interviewed. And it was supposed to be conducted in August, September 2011, and a large proportion, 73.4% of those interviewed, was either very agreeable or agreeable with the proposed project. This is what they claim, but we are questioning on the sampling size, 300 people, as well as the demographics. Where are these people obtained from?
Hi, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and YBs and MPs. From anti-dash, actually we have this kind of meeting 2 years back. We have a protest like this. 2 years back we have a major protest with 5,000 petitions. They presented a lot of noise, pollution. Just like you know, now I'm talking, it's less than 10 dB. This is 10 dB, less than 10 dB. So imagine that highway giving you 65 dB constantly every night. You will hear louder than this. Even though you shut your window, you still can hear the noise. So we have this kind of same struggles. I think I'm going to leave it all the things that, to YB, but we know Kidex is not the only highway that will disturb the residents. There are another 7 more highways coming to Klang Valley. One of it is Kidex, Dash, you got Suki, you got BBE, you got Skip, you have KORR, you have many highways coming up, not only affecting you guys, also affecting a lot of people in Raya. So we need the MPs to answer this, because we voted them. We want them to actually represent us, to protect the Raya.
We actually have this in our slides, Owen, all the time. This is a news report in the Star, January 9, 2012, not giving in to Dash. Just read it out in red. We were not consulted on the matter in the first place. This is a residential area and not a city for a highway to pass through. Why should we compromise environmental, social and safety issues just because it is cost effective to build a highway in this area? And this was in 2012. And this is, like to draw your attention to YB Elizabeth Wong as well as YB Sivarasa. Your names are there in the report. The protest was attended to by Subang MP R. Sivarasa, Bukit Lanjan Assemblyman Elizabeth Wong. And our conclusion in the slides we've been showing everybody, nothing much has changed. In 2012 the people are not consulted. 2014 the people are still not consulted.